The last Airbender movie. Remember when it didn't exist?
Why do I remember if it doesn't exist?
Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Avatar: The Legend of Aang, is a cartoon series that aired in Nickelodeon back in 2005 and spawned 3 seasons, the last one airing in 2008. Basically, just listen to Katara's iconic line in the intro and it sums up a portion of the whole series. In 2012, a spin-off series titled Avatar: The Legend of Korra came out, and it also spawned 4 seasons, airing up until 2014. The franchise is so popular up until today due to Netflix airing both The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra since 2020. But even then, when all everybody had was a bulky CRT television and dial-up internet, the series was an absolute hit. There's action figures, board games, comic books, and of course, as all popular forms of media in the 2000s, it had a bunch of licensed games. And it also had a plug-and-play from Jack's Pacific. Being one of the most beloved franchises because of its world building, storylines, and characters, the series had licensed games developed for both handheld and home consoles. Specifically, the Game Boy Advance and DS for the handhelds, while PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and Wii for the home consoles. At first glance, as someone who did not grow up with any of these consoles, akala ko magiging pareha sila lahat ng gameplay kahit na iba-iba sila ng consoles.
Wrong!
Who knew handhelds don't provide the same system requirements and hardware like home consoles do? I didn't. Kasalanan ko bang bobo ko nung bata ko? Going back, you would think that a franchise so great that gave us memorable storylines and arcs like Leaves from the Vine, Zuko Alone, or Korra Alone would also be amazing when ported into a game, but just because the series is amazing and wonderful doesn't mean it will translate well into a game, as almost all licensed games turn out. However, it also doesn't mean that the games can't still be enjoyable. Alright, diving into the licensed games, we have the GBA ports of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Burning Earth. The first game is told through Book 1, and it starts with Aang trying to find Katara because they were supposed to go penguin sledding, which also does happen in the series. Except for the wolves. Are you really making the pacifist airbending monk fight animals? With enough violence that they die? The pixel art in the game is beautiful though. For the second game, The Burning Earth, it also has the same mechanics, but continues off where the first game ended, wherein now the team is at Omashu. Again, beautiful artwork and animation. Also, we can play as Zuko and Uncle Iroh now, and we meet Toph and Azula. It's no doubt an improved version of the first game in all aspects, at least for me. All in all, the GBA ports are great. I like the puzzle element of the gameplay since it fits both the series and the hardware of the console. You get to be each of the characters and they have their own attack or bending, which comes in handy not just for the puzzles but also for the actual fights. Katara is a beast with that twirling water of death she got going on. Also, you can't solve the puzzles without the other members of the team, which in a way also makes it feel like the series, wherein they also help each other out when they're captured or have to escape or in a fight. Next up, we have the home consoles and whoa. Oh, calm down. The PS2 versions of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Burning Earth follow the same storylines as its GBA counterparts. but having more areas to explore, side quests, and people to talk to. While I think the graphics are great for the home console versions, I think I prefer the GBA versions better. I honestly get sidetracked all the time with what I have to do with the PS2 game because damn it, I get to be Momo. Again with the werewolves, are you serious? For the Burning Earth, it starts with book 2 of the series right away, and of course, Katara is a beast again, with her bending. As usual. We also have a game not ported into the Game Boy Advance, which is Into the Inferno, with its amazing title screen. I can't say the same about the gameplay. I mean, the game is fine, don't get me wrong. I'm just bad at it. It tells me the instructions on what to expect, like somehow I'm gonna remember all of it right away. But as someone who never grew up with a PlayStation 2, I can't focus on instructions and remembering which button to press on the controller because I'm gonna forget it after a few minutes. Other than that, it's fine.
Waterbending ought to do the trick.
Momo, what the Overall, the home console versions are pretty cool, but I still prefer the GBA ports. The pixel art style and puzzle elements feel just right. Not to say that the action-adventure gameplay for the home consoles aren't good. Far from it. I just think that even though the GBA ports are limited by its hardware, the games actually turn out real nice, and you don't have to get sidetracked with a quest or with random interactions, and the bending or the fighting gameplay looks simple but still really enjoyable and engaging. However, if you're gonna play any of these licensed games, just skip the DS ports in my opinion. First up, we have the DS version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Wow, motion sickness. I think it's fine. It has nicer and a smoother animation since the DS is much more superior in terms of its hardware than the Game Boy Advance, of course. But it's missing something? For me, at least. The GBA version is great because there's puzzles or enemies to watch out for around every corner, and for the home consoles, the areas are of course going to be bigger, but at least you can talk to people or find stuff and have a sudden focus / almost rhythm game for a few seconds. For the DS gameplay, I don't know. It's the same thing with the DS version of the Burning Earth, but this time, they got rid of the camera controls. I don't know if I'm supposed to be happy or not. Speaking of something that doesn't bring happiness, remember the live-action movie? If you've already watched and are a fan of the Avatar series, then you know that this movie doesn't actually exist. Ask anyone. Excuse me? Alam mo ba kung ano to?
Tao?
Pwede?
Hayop.
Meron?
Hayop kang ina mo.
I have never seen this movie since it came out in 2010. I mean, sure, I saw some scenes.
Katara, do not hit that spear!
But in order to fully appreciate the licensed game it had, I also had to watch the movie eventually. And it was bad. Let's be honest, the only good things about this movie are probably Sextile Gabriel, who later voices Asami in Legend of Korra, and Dev Patel. But maybe the game will turn out fine. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. First few minutes in, and I can't control my character properly. The cutscene animations are pretty good though. It almost seems like a really nice movie. Until you get to the next part where you meet Ong and Jesus Christ! Well, maybe the last licensed game, Into the Inferno for the DS, will be pretty alright. Don't listen to Aaron. The game is fine and cute. Aside from the Legend of Aang series, Korra also had a licensed game for the 3DS. Huh. Well, aside from that, it also had an action beat-em-up game in 2014 for the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Windows, and... never mind. It always made me wonder why a great franchise like the Avatar series get games like these, or get into situations where the games are pulled out from the market, or even the games online aren't available on the Nickelodeon website anymore. I don't understand. I know that some of these games were only developed because of this, but I don't understand why, if they wanted this, they couldn't research or understand the material enough and just made something like this.
First time.
Maybe in the future, there will be an Avatar game that's almost going to feel like the actual series, like an open world game with the characters using their bending for the gameplay, or creating your own team, and oh, it's Genshin Impact. But for now, maybe you just have to appreciate what's there and just enjoy the characters over and over. Maybe it's realizing that even if the movie had the wonderful and amazing Dev Patel, it probably shouldn't have existed and been developed into a game.
Oh my god, Dev Patel doesn't exist!
Regardless, whether or not you enjoy these games, or wish they had a better gameplay, or should have never seen the light of day, I think we should be thankful that at least the developers didn't put Uncle Iroh's Leaves from the Vine scene in the game. But imagine if they did.
Leaves from the vine, falling so slow, like fragile tiny shells drifting in the foam. Little soldier boy, come marching home. Brave soldier boy comes marching home.